progress.
Hey, so today let's talk about how to make decisions when it comes to starting your accounting firm, and especially when it comes to like growing and getting clients and really building a business that can support your family, can support your life for the next, 2, 5, 10, 15 years. So, who am I? So my name is Bryce, and I run a six-figure accounting and bookkeeping firm. I started back in 2015. Took me about a year in order to start like crossing the six-figure zone. It should not have taken me as long as what it did to go and reach like a pretty high revenue goal, but it did because I didn't really know what I was doing for the first 6 months. To date, I don't know why I always copy over this slide after watching like the PowerPoint version of this presentation. Right now it's about 356. At the time that I had made that and I keep copying it over, it was 306. So that was a little bit of time ago. And we basically help people start and grow their accounting and bookkeeping business. So this is people who are like accountants, CPAs, bookkeepers, and aspiring accountants and bookkeepers that want to start a business, but maybe they need to learn accounting and bookkeeping skill sets as well. So the first couple of sets of dangers when it first happens is really balancing short-term versus long-term goals. So what do I mean by that? So a lot of people, I found that people are either like grinding or they're visionaries. I haven't found a huge like mixture in between. Not to say there's not, but I just haven't seen it. People either are doing the work and like they're so short-term focused, or they have their heads like incredibly far in the sky and they're like, I need to make $1 million, and like they have no tangible thought process behind how they're actually going to get there. You need to be able to balance it out. So you need to be able to like balance out like what do you have to do in the short term to start getting some traction and start building towards your long-term goals, but you also have to have a long-term vision, a long-term goal of knowing where you need to go and where you actually want to go, so that when you get there, it's actually something that's desirable, right? So basically, we're going to kind of talk inside of this video is like in the short term, your goal needs to be how do you go and build relationships with as many qualified business owners as possible. Now, when I say qualified, for me, I'm always looking to charge between $500 to $5,000 per month per client for my accounting and monthly bookkeeping services. Now, in order to do that, I generally am going after clients that are doing between $500,000 to about $5 million per year in revenue, right? The sweet spot I found is between like $1 million to about $3 million. Closer you get to about $3 million, that's generally a really good size client. Just like the place they're at their business is generally a really good spot. But just really, as many people who are in that range as possible, building a relationship. Now, building a relationship can come in a couple different forms. That could be communicating. So let's take a step back. There's 3 different forms that will encompass a relationship. Generally, in like business and in life, things are generally like in tries, in like tripods. Most construction is built using triangles. If you even think of a square is really just 2 triangles put together, right? So let's say, for example, it's about what is their business, their current business, their future goals, and their personal life. Those are the 3 pillars of having a relationship with somebody. So most people, what they do is they just focus on like where the person is currently at in their business. They never get an understanding of like where the person wants to go. Why are they doing it? Like who is the human behind it? Who is the visionary behind it? Because remember, we talked earlier, there's the grinder, there's the visionary. If you're only talking to the grinding element of that person who's actively pushing, actively shoving every single day, you're not going to be able to have the full breadth of the relationship. And on top of that, you need to be able to start learning about like what are their hobbies, lives, family, like outside of business, because that's also going to cause them to be connected to you. When you can really understand how to do that, you have relationships. And if you can do that with generally it's about 2,000 business owners. If you have about 2,000 business owners that you have a true relationship with, you are never going to have to worry about money again. Okay, that's the magic number. I usually don't talk about magic numbers on this because like some people think that 2,000 is a lot. Some people think that 2,000 little. It really isn't that much if you do it over like the span of a year. So let's take a step back. So every large number is very doable if you expand the time horizon. So if you try to get 2,000 people in one day, that's crazy. That's hard. But if you have to do 2,000 people over the span of like a year, that's just 5 relationships a day. If you have to do it over 2 years, that's like 2 relationships a day. That's not that many, right? It's like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You don't just swallow the whole elephant. You're not going to do it. You're going to die, right? So it's all about just like slowly building up. But really, again, that's why we have to have this long-term goal, so that when we get to that 2,000 people, we know it's going to put us at our six-figure goal. Now, that is entirely, the 2,000 people is based on your goal, right? Because at worst case scenario, if you have 2,000 relationships, you're going to have between about 20 to about 30 clients. Now, depending on what your price, let's say your worst case scenario, your price at $500. If you have 20 clients at $500 a month, that's $10,000 a month. A lot of people like watch this video. Some people want to be at $5,000 a month as their goal. Some people have $20,000 a month as their goal. So you can adjust that number up or down, right? Up or down. It's generally about 1% of the people that are following you on social media are going to end up actually work with you and end up actually paying you money. About 1%, right? So if you know that you need to make $20,000, okay, well you're probably going to need to get 40 clients at $500 a month. Right? Now that's not to say you're not going to get $1,000 a month clients or $2,000 a month clients. I like to do my math on worst case scenarios. Okay? Now that actually slides to the next point, how to make decisions. It's all about thinking in terms of like systems thinking. Okay? If you notice, I did not tell you in this video to go get your first client. I will almost never tell you to focus on your first client. Like, and in any video that you see, I almost never tell you to focus on your first client. There's 2 videos on my channel that talk about how to get your first client, but that's different than focusing on your first client. A lot of people are like, well, I just want to get my first client, and then the business is real. No, you have to have a real business, and then you're going to get multiple clients. It's not just like a lot of people try to kind of like dip their toes in the water. But the same energy it takes to get 3 or 4 clients is, in a lot of cases, the same energy it takes to get 1 client. You will very rarely, if you're doing things correctly, get 1 client at a time. Usually it'll be like 1 or 3 clients will come after it. So it'll be like 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So by your 3rd week, you should have like a 3rd client. It's very rarely that, like, unless you do it wrong. If you just get lucky, okay, you might get 1 client, then it takes like 6 months to get your second one. I have seen that a lot, right? Generally inside of our mentorship program, we don't have that issue because of the fact that we're building based on systems. So in terms of systems, okay, there's a sales system, a marketing system, a hiring system, a actual doing the client work system and processes, right? Whenever we talk about like doing the actual client work, I like to think in terms of processes, not necessarily a system, but similar things, synonyms, right? So with your marketing process, it needs to be able, and your marketing system needs to be able to go and build relationships with multiple people at one time. So it's almost like you're kind of like planting a garden. We're actually going to talk about, I don't know if I have the gardening image inside of this one, but again, it's like balancing short-term with long-terms, right? As you get started, like the first system I build is really a marketing system, so you can start getting leads in consistently, right? So that's the biggest challenge that you're going to have. It's not closing the deals, it's not doing the work. It's how many opportunities do you have to tell someone about your service and give them a price quote. In a lot of cases, that number, they call it offers made. So offers to like work together with like a price and like proposal. Offers/proposals made, right? That is the key number in growing your business. So you need to have a system that allows you to give between 1 to 3 offers or proposal offerings per week. If you do that, you're not going to have any trouble growing your business. It'll probably take you 6 months to go reach 6 figures, right? That's why a lot of the students you see like in our mentorship program, like when they go and grow their business, like it's very, if you notice, it's very consistent revenue numbers. It's like generally they either get to 3,000 XYZ day, 5,000 XYZ day, 6,000 XYZ day, or like 10,000 XYZ day. There was a time it was like 8,400 was a really 84 to 8,600 was a very consistent number as well. But they're always like very consistent numbers. It's never like, oh, this person made $500 in a month. It's like, no, it's because the first client and the second client comes like really closely to it, and it's by design, right? Because we're trying to set up the cadence of new clients in a way to where you're not going to get overwhelmed, but also where you're not going to have to wait a million years to get like another client, right? It's all about how you start is really going to be how you finish. So we're always thinking in terms of like, what's the next system that I build, right? So there's a relationship building system, there's a trust building system, there is an interest building system, there is a premium pricing based system. This is all within marketing, right? Because if you have these, not only will you get clients, but you have people that actually are interested in working with you, they want to work with you, and they're willing to pay a higher price point. So when you mix all these things together, then you start growing. Most successful entrepreneurs are systems thinkers, because if everything is just so sporadic or just so like just all over the place, you can never build enough traction to actually grow, right? And notice how I say successful. If you want to be unsuccessful, you just kind of just do stuff and just kind of throw stuff against the wall and like maybe it sticks one day, maybe it doesn't. Like that's fine if you're not if this business is not something you want to do full time. That's a-okay. Have fun with it, right? Like have fun. It's way more fun to try a bunch of random stuff and like maybe you get a client, maybe you don't. Like that's fun. But if you want to kind of like build something that's tangible, something that can actually support you, there has to be a little bit of structure, at least in the beginning. Right? Next thing is kind of knowing and deciding where and how to spend your money. Okay? Now, a lot of people when they're starting the business do not understand how to like really spend their money. Right? The first thing when you're in business, you need to invest in yourself. You need to invest in the skill sets you don't have. You're really, in order to grow a business, you're really just a set of skill sets away from actually being able to do it, right? Because in order for you to build a system, you need to have the underlying skill set. So how can I build a marketing system, okay? Remember how we talked earlier, like building a relationship. I did not know that there were 3 parts of building a relationship when I first joined a business. I had to pay money to learn that inside of a marketing coaching program. Someone sat down and told me that and broke that down. Like back then there weren't like YouTube channels that taught about like how to build an accounting or bookkeeping business like we have now. Like you have literally 1,000 free videos, right? Now the challenge with having 1,000 free videos is like most people don't have the time to go and like watch 1,000 videos. So instead they like join our mentorship program. We just like give it to you step by step. So like there's no miscommunications. It's customized to you, and you're able to actually go and reach your goal a lot faster, right? That's why I invite everyone to like join our mentorship program, just because it's just more customized and just faster for you. But I learned that because I was investing in myself. Where I see a lot of people struggling when they start is like they are trying to conserve all of their cash and they only spend it on stuff that consumers spend on. So what I mean by that? Vacations, luxury goods, random things, computers, websites, just like stuff that is not essential to making money. In the beginning, your only thing that's going to save you from failing in business is your skill sets. Now, if you already have an underlying skill set of marketing or sales, in a lot of cases, you might not necessarily need to invest in as many things, but the less skills you have, like business skills, and I do not mean business experience. Okay, most people, what happens, like maybe they like come from like a corporate background and they're like, well, I have business experience. Like, okay. But when they try and start a small business, they fit like the failure rate on people that like have business experience and don't ever get help but fail is extremely high, because oftentimes the skill sets it takes to run an existing business is tremendously different than the skill sets it takes to start a business from 0 to 6 figures. It's actually harder to get a business to go from 0 to 6 figures than it is to go from a business from 8 figures to 9 figures. Okay? I know it sounds crazy, but it definitely is, because think about it. If something has momentum already, if a car is, this is a good example. If a car is going at 60 miles an hour, you turn the wheel an inch, and you are in a totally different direction. Right? That's why you can't move the steering wheel very much when you're driving the highway. You have to be very, very careful with the steering wheel. When you are driving slow, you have to turn the wheel like 3 or 4 different times in order to turn a different direction. Right? Because once something already has speed, little tweaks make big differences. But if you're starting your business, you have to turn the wheel so much more. And oftentimes it takes a lot more skill set or energy. If you don't have a lot of energy, you need to have good skill set. Right? So for example, back when I had a lot more energy, because I was like a lot younger, 10 years ago, I was very spastic. I had so much energy. Like most people would say like give a lot of energy now, but like I saw a video of me like 10 years ago and like just me talking, and like I was like, my energy was like spastic back then. I didn't even realize that. But what I lacked in skill, I made up for in enthusiasm, speed, acceleration, and energy. Now I have skill. I don't need to like go and jump around and like talk a million miles an hour and like sell very hard objection handle. It's not that necessary, right? Because I have better skills. But I had to pay a lot of money for those skill sets, right? And now paying and investing in myself and my monetary skill sets allowed me to be able to travel and have luxuries and pay for investments. If you notice on this, the education trees are higher up than the luxury travel and investments, right? Something to be said about that. Like, it's crazy when someone's like, well, I'm starting a business, I'm not really doing well, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I have a vacation going, so I can't do your mentorship program, so I just invested all this money in a vacation and not to let my savings go. It's like, that seems like totally backwards. Because if you think about it, if you just invest in a mentorship program, you get one cleanup, now you can go pay for the vacation. It's super simple, you know what I mean? So it's like, you invest in the things that are going to give you the most money the fastest. It's all about getting these assets. When you don't have a lot of money, and when you're just starting out, like in your really your journey, your active income and your passive income journey, it's all about just buying and finding stuff that's going to shoot more money. And like, you always have to like go look for certainty. You're looking for certainty. The one place that you should be certain about, and like, you should be certain. I say should. It's not that you have to be, because like some people don't trust themselves. It's about yourself. I am the one thing that's never going to leave me. If I do leave myself, like if I get like, dementia or some kind of thing where my mind doesn't work the same way, okay, well, we have bigger problems then. It doesn't matter. But as long as I have a clear mind and my body still works, right, I am not going to leave me. So I am the sum of the skill sets that I have. So by investing more and more in myself, I am building more and more finances in the future as a result of my skill set and my searchiness that I'm going to be here is going to go. Versus what a lot of people will invest in is like things that they don't really understand or things that are kind of fleeting, right? So let's say that you like invest like in an advertising campaign. Well, if you don't have the underlying skills to actually sell to people that come through advertising, well, you just spend all that money, just went into thin air. Also, how do you know if the advertising campaign is going to work, right? So you just spent the money and there's no way that you can like internally recoup it. Versus if you maybe spend, like I spent money on a coaching program one time, and it cost me a lot. Well, it didn't cost that much. It was like $5,000, and like I did not. It was over my head. I didn't know anything that was in there. It took me. It wasn't until like 3 or 4 years after I did that course I started like understanding what was being taught in that course. But here's the cool thing. So in the moment I might have lost money, but overall it made me a lot of money in the future once I was ready to like understand what they were talking about, and like it would just come back. It's like, oh, that's what he meant. Oh, that's what he was talking about. Oh, that worked exactly. That guy was a genius. At the time I thought he was an idiot, but now when I'm looking at it, this guy was a genius. Genius. But since I invested in myself, I could recoup that money. It was never lost. It was just out there. It was never lost. So, next thing. Okay, you need to start learning how to ignore information, statistics, videos, marketing strategies that are not built for where you currently are in your business cycle. So, for most people who are starting out, I would not advise looking at stuff that talks about like investing in like Facebook advertising or YouTube advertising. You're just not quite there yet. Even if you had a lot of money, like if you had an extra $1 million to spend, I probably would say it's not a great idea to do it, because it's not about the money, it's about the underlying skill. Most people think that if you invest in advertising, you're going to have a stream of people that actually want to pay you. Whenever you invest in advertisements, you have to actually have an underlying nurture system. I basically call it a warm-up system, where the person has to understand your brand, your values, you as a person, and warms them up. So if you're just expecting like ads will bring in a set of leads. But those leads are ice cold, and they're very, very hard to close if you don't have a good, remember, process, system in place to warm them up. So it all comes back to short-term, long-term, systems thinking, really understanding where to put your money, right? Because I don't want you wasting your money on ads or wasting your money on stuff that is not going to give you a return. And then learning how to ignore stuff that's going to distract you. Because on the internet, everything is designed to distract you. I literally have a rule. If it is a marketing strategy that is not complementary to my existing marketing strategies, I do not watch the video. And that's hard, because there's a million different strategies, a million different videos. But I have to stay focused, because there's a lot of times where it's like you try the wrong strategy and you end up wasting 6 months to a year or hundreds of that. Well, technically you probably spend tens of thousands of dollars, but it'll lead to you losing hundreds of thousands of dollars by getting distracted from the thing that actually like works the best. So it just kind of depends, but really just kind of guard your mind and focus on the stuff that is really, really important for where you are. Because if you do a great job at where you are, you're going to evolve, and you're going to be at a different spot to where you can actually start watching those different things and reading those different things, consuming those different things. Like for me, almost anything that I do makes money. But there's an opportunity cost that I have for every decision because it will take anywhere between 3 months to make it work, or it'll cost me $100,000 in lost opportunities if I was to shift budget from one place to the next place, right? So everything works. It's just, is it the right time? Is it the right thing to do? If the answer is yes, then you do it. If the answer is no, then you don't, you know? But that's just kind of the thing I've been learning. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully you learned something new and really understanding like decision making when it comes to starting your business. Now, if you want some help growing your business, like maybe you've been trying to do this stuff, it's just not quite going the way that you want or the way that you hoped. And you know that if you had a better process, a better procedure in place to actually grow, to get clients, to structure your business to succeed, then you would actually go and reach your goals. If you want help doing that, go ahead and click the link inside the description, either above or below the video, to book a call with myself to see if I can help you inside of our mentorship program, okay? I can't help everybody. That's why I like doing these calls, because I really want to kind of understand you, your situation, and like make sure it's a good fit. Because I mean, if it's not a good fit, this coaching program, like it has a pretty significant like time span that we spend. I don't want to be spending 6 months to a year with someone that's a bad fit. They hate me and we're arguing 24/7. That's not what I set out to do. This is a very, very simple, easy process that gets very consistent results. So I like making this as fun as possible. I like working people who work with me. I like work people who enjoy working with me and who actually want to be there. So if you want to see if it's a good fit for you, if you want to see if you want to be a part of this, go ahead and click the link inside the description above or below the video. Book that call. I'd love to see you. I'd love to talk to you, okay? I'll talk to you soon. Have a good rest of your day. Take it easy. I'm done recording in 3 and 2 and 1.